All right, I call this meeting to order, 10:32 a.m. First, I'm gonna turn it over to Vern for invocation. Which for coming today, Vern. Which Vern. Nikki, can you take roll call, please?
Carlos Hernandez,
Here.
David Morrison,
Here.
Janelle Gagaway. Here. Mildred Holmes. Here. And Robert Moore.
Here. Next up, we have the approval of the agenda. Since Miranda's not here, it should be good.
We do have two additions, Chairman. So we have one at the very end, so two at the very end, I guess. Tom Spears will be one of them. He has a resolution 22-2027, which is the SRF task order grant application for public transportation. And then another one for Chris Holm as the forest carbon agreement amendment and attestation letter. Did I pronounce that right, Chris? And
Okay.
yeah, those should be handed to you, yeah.
All right. There's no further additions or deletions. Ask for a motion to approve the agenda with the two added items at the end.
I'll make the motion.
Move by Janelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Next up is the approval of the meeting minutes for July 15th, 2026. There's no questions or concerns. Ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes of July 15th, 2026.
Move.
Moved by Robert. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Next up, we have our introduction of new employees. Do we have any new employees? All right, Angela Wright, April Supervisor, is coming up to introduce a new employee.
Good morning, Angela Rich. I have a new employee, Waynette Larson. She's our victim services advocate. This will leave right away. She has an appointment. So.
All right, next up, we have our consent agenda. Jalen, would you be able to read the consent agenda?
Yes, I can. So there's, first one is letter A, the Fifth Amendment to Saydee Whitebird contract for Cannabis Regulation Commissioner Director for, it passed 400. B, ISC with parameters LTC for new DNR building furniture, and that passed 400. And then letter C, 2026 per capita amount and date, and that passed 400.
Ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Janelle. Do I have a second? Second by Millie. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Next up, we have Will Manthy and Annamarie Hill. They're here to talk about the approval for a manuscript related to understanding of causes on dementia in Native communities and the Alzheimer's update. There's been a research been going on for a while, and Annamarie Hill's here to give us another update. Or is it Will? Hi, Will. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
Bonjour, Chairman Hernandez and council members. Thank you so much for having me today. I don't know if Annamarie is able to make it. She has a head cold that's fairly bad. I sent her the link, but I'm not sure if she's able to log on or not.
Sounds good. Hopefully you can give us the report.
Yes. So first of all, we published 2 papers that you approved for us. And again, just to give you a quick background, I'm a neurologist at University of Minnesota, and I've had the privilege of working with Boys Fort since 2021. Back then we had the MRI semi-truck outside the Health Services Center, and we're currently working mostly in the urban office. So it's been a privilege working with Boys Fort, and thank you again for having us run this dementia project. Our main goal is to understand the causes of dementia and also ensure that new blood tests for Alzheimer's work equally well in Native communities. And these are new Alzheimer's tests that you may have actually seen at certain doctor's offices that are sort of brand new. But the update today was we're hoping to publish another scientific manuscript. This is a paper that would go to a scientific journal. And the main idea is that our participants who engaged in healthy lifestyle activities, these are things like walking every day, being socially engaged to decrease loneliness and improve mental health, avoiding ultra-processed foods, adhering to traditional diets, actually had lower levels of brain damage proteins in their bloodstream. And we're able to actually measure these brain damage proteins thanks to new technology. So we were happy to see this result because as frequently as doctors, we always tell patients, hey, eat your apple a day, keep the doctor away, stay active and try to improve mental health. But sometimes we don't really know to what extent that might actually impact your brain health. And so that we're seeing actual changes in proteins in the bloodstream that are related to brain damage, and people are positively changing those brain damage associated proteins with healthy lifestyle activities, was something we were happy to see because it, again, tells us that we're actually doing something useful. So that's the paper we're hoping to publish. One of the things we set up with this project is making sure that Boys Fort has full ownership and decision-making power over everything we do with this research. And so asking your approval and feedback for these publications, we'd highly appreciate anything you can give us on that front. That's really all I have to say for now. We're definitely hoping to make it up in person and share some of those publications and hand them out to the Tribal Council and everyone who supported us. And I'll stop there. So again, thank you for having me today. It's been a true privilege, and miigwech again.
Oh, thank you, Will, for joining us, and we appreciate the work that you've put forward in finding the causes of dementia in Native communities, understanding them. We have a manuscript to approve? Is that what we're doing here? Approving a manuscript?
Yes.
Ask for a motion. to
I had a
approve.
question first.
We have a question first.
Yeah, for Will. Will, my name is David Morrison, Senior and Secretary Treasurer. Will you be, is it our responsibility to get this to our health department and, or will you be sending that to our health director and their staff to review this information, or our medical staff?
Yeah, so this was approved with the tribal resolution. It was, I believe, 61, 2024 was the tribal resolution, and we reviewed it, at least not this particular manuscript, but the way that we're conducting the study with the Bois Forte attorney, Jeff Holth, who's been really generous in giving us his advice. And according to the Bois Forte attorney's office, the way that it's set up, where the tribal council approves the manuscript, is, I don't know what the right word is, but okay. You know, that's something that is originally set up to basically make sure that historical abuses in terms of academic researchers using data that was not in a way congruent with the needs and the desires of the participating tribe. We were trying to make sure that those historical abuses were never repeated. And so that's why we set it up in this way, so that the tribal council would approve any scientific manuscripts before they went out. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Sorry.
Yes, then just another question is, what, does the Alzheimer's disease that's out there, does it have does people with diabetes have, does it affect people with diabetes harder or stronger than somebody that just got Alzheimer's or whatever, or what?
Yeah, thank you for asking both these excellent questions. So diabetes definitely does increase your risk for Alzheimer's disease. It also increases your risk for a closely related condition called vascular dementia, which is when the tiny blood vessels in your brain actually has about, if you stretched out all the tiny blood vessels in your brain, they would be about 200 miles long. And those tiny blood vessels, they're very thin walled. And if they have exposure to high levels of blood sugar, like you see in diabetes, they actually can start to wither away and to become damaged. And when your blood vessels in your brain aren't strong, then it's a setup for developing Alzheimer's afterwards. So the thing is, we don't know why some people with type 2 diabetes never develop Alzheimer's or other types of dementias, whereas some people with relatively low levels of type 2 diabetes develop rapid onset Alzheimer's or other types of dementias. So it's not sort of a one-to-one relationship where you can exactly predict, diabetes leads to Alzheimer's or other types of dementias. We think it's more of a risk factor that if you have diabetes, you're more likely to develop it. But those other missing parts that might protect against dementia in people with diabetes, we're actually still unsure of what those are.
What about a person that's experienced carotid artery clogs or whatever? Is that another big risk factor for a person, maybe getting Alzheimer's, or is it that, what would the effect be with a person that has a carotid artery that has some blockage?
Yeah, that's another great question. The overall idea is very similar to diabetes, where with carotid artery blockage. Carotid artery is the main artery that goes, from your heart up to your head. There's other arteries too, but that's sort of the thoroughfare, so to speak. There's one on each side. So if one or both are blocked, that can definitely damage that 200 miles of blood vessels that are in your brain. But just like diabetes, some people get a blockage in their carotid artery and never develop dementia for the rest of their life, and we still don't know why. Versus some other people have a blockage and that really brings them down significantly, and they develop Alzheimer's relatively soon afterwards. So yeah, we still don't exactly know, why some people are more protected than others. But yeah, that's a good question too, because really anything that impacts your heart health, whether it's diabetes or high blood pressure or carotid artery being blocked or people with very high levels of cholesterol, all those kind of heart conditions can predispose to that 200 miles of blood vessels in your brain becoming more damaged and setting you up for future dementia.
Okay, thank you. I know that both sectors of the reservation have fitness centers, and so I think we as a tribal council should get with our health department and really stress the importance of getting up and moving, especially during the winter time when we have 9 months of winter and we want to get people out to get out and move and exercise. Maybe it's something that we can really promote hard on about getting our especially our youth, get out to move around a little bit, do some walking, bicycling, or whatever, and so I think that we as a tribal council should get with our health and really promote that. But thank you.
Yeah, miigwech for having me, and it's been one of the highlights of my life, honestly, working on this. So thank you for making it possible.
Well, the only concern that we have at this time is don't see the whole entire manuscript. We just see like a snippet, like a introduction, the methods, the results, and the conclusions. I'm guessing that the manuscript is going to be a little bit larger than this.
Yeah, so thanks for asking that question too. I can absolutely send you the final manuscript. The part that you're seeing right now is sort of what's called the abstract, or it's the main points that will come across in the manuscript. The manuscript is always a little bit, it can change because when you actually submit it for publication, which at that point you kind of, are sending it out for other people to review, they can ask you to change things in regards to, what paragraph goes where, or what points to highlight, or what points to de-emphasize. So the final manuscript can be, let's just say if we sent you sort of a rough draft of that right now, it would have the main points that the abstract has. But it could undergo some change in terms of the exact wording. But I would be definitely happy to send that to you once the journal, has us create the final written article, basically. But we want to get your approval on the abstract, because once we send the abstract, that includes the highlights of what we're going to be talking about and the main points. At that point, again, we're sending it off to people who are not part of the study. So we want to seek your approval for that before basically sharing it with people in the scientific community that are going to be reviewing this.
Sounds good. We might have to table this one, bring it back as an abstract. This was a approval of the manuscript, and if we're going to approve the abstract, it would be something different than what we already approved for this meeting. We do have a question on the screen though that said, I would like to know if Gabby Penton and Lyrica have been linked to dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yeah, thanks for that question too. So gabapentin and Lyrica are both drugs that a lot of people use to treat chronic pain. It's specifically used to treat types of pain called neuropathic pain. So chronic pain is sort of an umbrella term. There's lots of different ways you can have chronic or long-term pain. Neuropathic pain just means when you have a nerve that's being irritated, and you can get electric type pain or pain from things that normally shouldn't cause pain, like running a blanket, let's say, over your feet. Normally a blanket's not going to cause pain, but in people that have neuropathic pain, normally pleasant sensations can cause pain. So gabapentin and Lyrica are drugs that can help with that. The problem is that those drugs do cause a little bit of sleepiness. And so if you're a little bit sleepy, you're not going to be performing 100% in terms of your cognitive abilities. At the same time, we haven't seen any definitive data that links those drugs to increased risk of developing future dementia. So if someone needs those drugs for, let's say, pain, then I don't think that they should avoid it because of future dementia risk. But just know that people that are on that drug can be a little bit sleepier and just be a little bit slower in terms of their response speed, and maybe their memory because of the sleepiness is not as good. And that can impact the ability to perform mental tasks, but it shouldn't increase your future risk for dementia. But that's a really good question, because a lot of people are on drugs that they didn't know can impact their memory, and so they come to our offices and they're worried that they're developing Alzheimer's, but really it's just the side effect of a medication that's looking like the memory is an issue.
This is the abstract. All right, just for the record, instead of the approval of the manuscript, we're going to do approval of the abstract. It's a step in order to get to the manuscript. So ask for a motion to approve the abstract presented to us today. Moved by Millie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Will. Thank you for joining us today.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Best of luck with all your endeavors.
And thank you for
Thanks,
answering the
Raj.
questions presented today. Thank you.
Yep. I appreciate it. Bye.
Just to let you know, that question that was, that last question was by Tony Wakeham. Thank you, Tony, for that question.
All right, next up on our agenda is Ashely Gnerer. And she's here to speak about a sole source request and agreement with DocuSign and our 2026 renewal. I'm not sure about you guys, but I have to use DocuSign quite a bit.
Hi, all.
Hi, thank you for joining us today, Ashely. So the sole source is because we only have access to that program through DocuSign. There's nothing familiar or offers the same services.
There is other applications that do offer that, but the reason we wanted to sole source it was that we've been utilizing it for the past 6 years. And then this application works in conjunction with accounting internal controls, and the DocuSign applications can be directly imported within the new Tyler accounting platform. And then this application is also implemented throughout all boys sport departments, as it presents solutions that are not readily available throughout other similar software packages. So that is the reasoning for just doing the sole source for it, rather than going and finding other quotes and starting with a new platform package for an
Sounds good.
alternative company.
My only concern is that it was approved by Jeff on July 28th, and it's been 8 days. Has anything changed? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. As far as the quote is good until August 31st.
Perfect.
So I wanted to get it approved this RTC meeting rather than waiting for the next one, because then we might not be able to get this offer.
Any questions or concerns from council?
Oh, just to let her know that the renewal is from September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2027. But yeah, since I got in office, that this is really a big difference than before when I was on the council when had to do had to sign everything by a pen with a paper. And now it just comes up instantly, and I can just scroll down and from my signature. It's a lot quicker. So thank you for presenting this, Ashely. I'll move
Yes.
to.
I have a couple questions. First, please. You provided us with, I believe, some line items here. Which line item would this cost come from?
So that was the account for the internal services. The indirect cost pool is where it comes from. And so I'm not very good at account numbers, so forgive me for the bad answer, but it's the IDC Tribal Council funding. I pulled this from the last time we did the purchase order for DocuSign. So it was just what was there previous years.
So there must be updated numbers on this thing then, should be, or do these numbers stay the same?
So the one that I sent for you is the one from the new Tyler ERP system.
Okay. And then the other question that I have is, looking at the paperwork here that you submitted, if I can find it here real quick. It says something along the line of, just a minute here, I gotta find it. Okay. You've checked the box that says after solicitation of a number of sources, competition is determined to be inadequate. And, so do you actually have documented, information from other sources? Or did you just go with this one?
I just went with this one. I don't have any documentation from other sources. This is my first time doing it, so I just kind of went off of what was done in the past. Kim usually brought this to council for approval. So,
Okay, I think it probably, just for audit purposes, would be a good idea if you had the documentation from the other sources that you've contacted, just to put in the file. You know, with this, in case the
Yeah.
auditors ask us if we have backup information that we should be following for the procurement policy.
okay, I can
Right.
work on that this coming week and obtain some documentation for that.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Janelle, I didn't know what you were really asking. You're looking for the other quotes on it? What they're asking for is a sole source, so they don't have to do that right now because of, I've done it before, with the, regroup. I just did it with regroup. Where you don't really have to get the other quotes right now based on that sole source certification that she submitted.
Well,
And
I was questioning it because it says after solicitation of a number of sources, but I don't see those number of sources. So maybe that box shouldn't have been checked then.
Just to Janelle's point, I think just to clarify, I think what's going on is based on the justification, Ashely, I think the sole source justification is actually that first box, only one source is available. Because the justification is that, this uniquely is tailored to accounting's needs. And so to Janelle's point, I think your justification actually makes sense. But the sole source rationale is that first box, only one source is available. So I would recommend switching that for audit purposes, and then I think the justifications will make sense with the box that's checked.
Okay, I can do that as well and send a new sole source sheet for Miranda to sign off on.
Yeah, we'll have it done the proper way. We'll get this paperwork in order before we approve it. So we'll just kick this back to you. We'll table it for today. And then you can get this filled out the proper way. Like we had mentioned for audit purposes. So if we have to look back at this in the future, there's no questions because everything's done right. They don't have to match it up with meeting minutes. So as for a motion to
Okay.
table,
I'll move.
moved by Janelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Millie. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Ashely. We'll just get those straightened out and figured out the next and get it approved at the next meeting, which
Okay,
for joining
thank
us
you.
today. All right, next up, we have Cassandra Laakkonen, and she's here to talk about a policy ordinance for the Employee Assistance Program Manual. The first guest in person, huh? All right, an Employee Assistance Program Manual is what you're here to speak about?
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I would just like to get the approval to launch the program. I know I submitted all of the manual and documentation to you guys for review. I'm just hoping to get it launched and started. And answer any questions if you guys had any.
Would you be able to provide a quick background for maybe folks that are new to the or I guess what this program is?
It's designed to support employees and their families in addressing personal and workplace challenges. So what I'm hoping is it can kind of help if employees are struggling with stress or just kind of having issues, maybe even at home, and they just need a place to talk or kind of get assistance or guidance in how to manage that. I'd like to be able to help with that and kind of help with employee morale in that way.
And how would employees go about accessing this program if it's enacted?
There are different forms that can be filled out. They can also reach out to me directly. They can go through their supervisors. There are a couple different outlets that they can use.
It's pretty nice, the overview of the Employee Assistance Program for those who don't have access to this paperwork here. It says that EAP provides confidential assessment, short-term counseling, referral services, follow-up support, mediation assistance, and conflict resolution resources for employees and their immediate family members. Services are intended to help individuals resolve personal concerns before they negatively impact employment and organizational operations. The program addresses concerns such as employee and workplace concerns, conflict management, alcohol and drug-related issues, family and relationship challenges, physical and emotional health concerns, self or safety-related issues, work performance concerns, stress, and personal life challenges. Goes on to list the benefits to the government. And yeah, it looks like an excellent program and look forward to implementing this. And thank you for taking the time to put this together and trying to get it on the ground. Is there any questions or concerns from council? If not, I ask for a motion to approve.
I just one question, are there any employees that are feeling the effects that maybe in any one of these categories or that you know of or no?
I think yes. I know I've already somewhat dealt with some mediation stuff within our department, or not our department, but within one of our departments. So I think it is something that will definitely be utilized.
So if this is approved, then it'll be brought forth to all employees to see and to review and to discuss if they wanna.
Correct.
Do you already have the staff to do these, provide these services? Do you already have the staff to provide these services?
As of this point, it would just be me, and then I would resource out to other departments such as like the clinic or refer them to reach out to them.
We do have two comments by Kathy Chavers online. It says, it would be nice to have new employees in the Boys Fort News. Sorry, do not know who is presenting and can't see her. Maybe when presenting to us, let us know what their title is and what department they're working for. Also, who will be implementing this program, which I believe you already mentioned. HR will be implementing the program under, I guess, you directly, but potentially HHS if there's additional need.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the employee assistance program.
We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second by Millie. All in favor, say aye. That motion was by Janelle, second by Millie. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you for joining us today. I
Thank
look
you
forward to the program and what it can bring to everybody. I know.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Which, no, mental health is a important thing. We need to take care of our bodies and we need to take care of our minds. So having another place to bring up concerns will be a benefit to our employees. Which, next up, we have Jill Schuchard. And when she gets up here, I'll have her, or if she joins us online, I'll have her give us her title. Hi, Jill. I see you online. When you join us, would you be able to give us your title for those joining us online and your department? And she's here to talk about a request to use the Boys Fort logo on the MDH Health Kids program. Hi, Jill. How are you doing today?
Good morning. My name is Jill Schuchard. Excuse me. I'm the maternal child health nurse, and I have been working with Minnesota Department of Health for the Healthy Kids Boys Fort program. This is the second time that we're implementing this program, and their graphic design team has been designing this flyer, and we've been working back and forth. And so this is the final draft, and so we're just hoping to put the Boys Fort logo on there to kind of give a visual to that partnership.
It looks good. Looks good on both of them. When is this program starting? It looks like you're going to be informing the community about a chance to test for chemicals, a free chance to test for chemicals.
Yes. So our initial launch will be in September, and the information will go out, before, but then we'll be at the schools, at the Hearing and Vision, and then at our community events. And if parents want, they can meet one-on-one with us. And so this is a chance for youth 3 to 17, and we've been working with Jeff to have the right consents and assents signed, but it's a chance for parents to see what their kids are exposed to in the environment. And it's all across the state of Minnesota right now. It's a 5-year program. So an interesting finding they found was there was a concentration of arsenic in a population down in the cities, an Asian population, and it came from jasmine rice. They were eating rice 3 times a day or more, and it was from like a big box store. And so they were able to trace those high levels back to specific brands of jasmine rice. So we don't know we're being exposed to until we have that data and then can track it back. And so the last go around, we had 6 participants and the data was just pretty small. And so it was hard to make conclusions. And we didn't have anything, of concern of those 6. And so we're hoping to have a broader group. And so we've expanded it from ages, the previous was 3 to 6 years old, and now this is 3 to 17. So a much bigger group.
How many kids, how many children are you expecting to test? I mean, is there an certain amount, male, female?
No, there's an unlimited amount.
That's
Yeah, if we can, the larger the group, the more information we can collect and then create trends and data from that. And then that can look at, the Net Lake sector versus the Vermilion sector. Does the golf course impact anything? Does, road salt getting into the lake affect things? There's 90 different chemicals that they're looking at. And so they're chemicals that we don't necessarily think of, but if we can smell it, it's a chemical. So like Febreze, for example, or the Glade plugins, those are all chemicals that then get processed through our body. And so especially in kids, because they're much smaller, those chemicals get concentrated and sometimes aren't excreted as quickly.
And what are you gonna do with all of that data once you already get it? Like, is it gonna be used to fund a campaign to kind of put a limit on these chemical use, or what's the goal for this?
So we own the data, and so each parent will get a sheet. You can kind of see it in one of the sub pictures, but for each chemical, they'll get where their child registers, and you'll be able, if it's above a high level, they'll get a personal phone call from MDH and says your child's exposed. These are some recommendations to reduce that exposure. They offer retesting, and then we can take that data and use it however we see fit. So if there wants to be, if somebody wants to make a policy about chemicals being used on XYZ, here's the data to show, yes, it is affecting our community. Here are, possible solutions. That's one example.
And so the parent would have to be the person to approve this, right?
Yes. So 3 to 12-year-olds, the parent signs the form and gives consent. And then there's a survey that they take. And so that's where that $40 comes in, is to say, thank you for your time. And then ages 13 through 17, the parent has to sign a form and the youth, both agreeing to this.
any questions or concerns? I know the request is for using the logo. If there's no questions or concerns, it looks pretty good to me. Looks tasteful. If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve the request to use the logo on the MDH Health Kids program.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Janelle. Do I have a second? Any second by Robert. Do I? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Lance Hill. And then we'll take a break. Hi, Lance, how you doing today? Thank you for joining us. Be talking about resolution.
Fine. Good morning.
Lance is here to speak about resolution number 21-2027, the termination of residential lease for Darren Landgren.
Correct. And just for the note, I am the realty manager for the band. My name is Lance Hill. Yes, so this lease, it really is just closing out some older business. I think in late 22, the band member Darren Landgren, he possessed the lease. He transferred his property via sale, and there were a few clerical errors that took place. And there's more than one reason why this was delayed, but so we're closing out, or hang on, I'll backtrack. So as we signed off on the new lease for the seller, or the buyer, I'm sorry, I recognized that this lease was still active. So there was a cancellation document that was approved by the council back in late 22, but I recognized that there were some typos on there that that basically rendered that resolution ineffective. So this one cleans up the old resolution, it rescinds it, as well as terminates the lease. The difference between the termination and the cancellation is the lessee that we're terminating the lease for, there's for them. That's common for, well, it's common for when people decease or if it's difficult to obtain the signature. So there's many reasons why we go about this. It sounds a little harsher than it is, but it's pretty common practice.
Sounds good. The only question I have is like, he's moved, right? We're not kicking somebody out or nothing. Right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
sounds good.
Vacated the property.
There's no questions or concerns. I ask for a motion to approve resolution number 21-2027, termination of residential lease for Darren Landgren. Moved by Robert. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. With that, we're going to take a break. It's 11:20 right now. We will come back at 11:30.
For the people online, I will repeat this towards the end of the meeting as well, but the events that we have coming up, Thursday, August 6th, we have will and estate planning out at the courts at 5 p.m. So that's some information that that will be provided to help out with will and estate planning through a third-party organization. There's also a way to attend online. I believe you can find that on our Facebook page. There's also going to be a craft and beading circle at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On August 9th and over at the Behavioral Health Building in Net Lake, and then August 16th at the Vermilion Social Center. For anybody that's listening outside of the reservation boundaries or is interested in traveling to hang out with some of our tribal citizens that are living in Duluth in the cities, we do have a Duluth Urban Office picnic tomorrow at Lincoln Park. I believe it starts at 5 and goes till 7:30. And then down in Minneapolis, there is a urban office picnic down there. I believe August 15th. That's a Saturday, and it starts at 4 p.m. and goes till 8 p.m. And that's located by Minnehaha Falls, kind of down by the VA. I'll have to get the address set up for, or written down for that. Both places will have food, games, and just getting to hang out with some of our tribal citizens that live in those metro areas as well. So if you live in those areas, please come out and you have a chance to see our council members here in person, and then as well as some of our department directors down at those places as well. Thanks.
All right, it's 11:30, so we'll get started again. Like she snuck in on me. All right, next up we have Vonda Carr. And Leanne, is she joining us online or is it just you taking the spotlight today, Vonda?
She's joining us.
All right, and we're going to speak about updates to the Boys Fort Scholarship Policy Manual.
Good morning, Council. Vonda Carr, Boys Fort Band member, 477 director. Leanne Hoffman is going to do most of the presentation for the scholarship update to the policy. She's been in her position for 20 plus years, so she knows this policy like the back of her hand. So I'm gonna let her take it away.
Bonjour, Leanne Hoffman, the 477 Workforce Development Coordinator. What I have here today is the Boys Fort Scholarship Policy Manual. I just have some wording changes from Education Department to 477 Department and from Education Director to 477 Director. I know we've been the 477 program for 3+ years. To be honest, it slipped my mind that that wording was in the scholarship policy. So we were focused on implementing the changes to the new 477 program. So, but yeah, it was the Education Department to 477 was in here several times, as well as the Education Director to 477 Director. But with help and look over with Jeff, we were able to get those changes, and now it is correct. I guess so. What we are, I guess, here today is to get the approval of the new policy manual, I guess, for our scholarship program.
Sounds good. The last time it looks like it was updated was 2011, April
Yep.
21st. So,
Yeah.
all right, if there's no question. Changing Education Department over to the 477 Department and the Education Director over to 477 Director.
Okay, I thought maybe there was some changes in the app or in the policy itself.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No changes to the policy, just the wording on the director part.
Okay.
There's no questions or concerns. I ask for a motion to approve the updates to the Boys Fort Scholarship Policy Manual. Moved by David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Millie. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried.
You have a comment online.
Oh, we have a comment on
Yeah, by
that.
Kathy Chavers. Is there a possibility of adding in trade schools under the scholarships, or can that be looked at?
So, hi Kathy. Kathy and I actually just had this discussion a few weeks ago about adding the trades, and at that time, this policy was already done and updated. And with the fall semester starting, we wanted to push this through, and that is something that Leanne and I are going to work towards discussing and possibly implementing into the scholarship policy, because we know trades is a really huge profession in our area. And we are really actually seeing more and more high school students leaving high school and going towards the trades after graduation. So that is something, and we know that our scholarship program is tribally funded. And so we know that we can take the boundaries of our scholarship policies and expand them and bring them to the council and then ask for approval towards that. So that is something that, including the trades, is part of our discussion in our department.
Which, thank you for joining us today, Vonda.
Thank you.
And thank you, Leanne.
Miigwech.
Which, you go, Bopaman. Next up, we have Randy Long in person. All right, we're going to talk about the approval to allow QHS to act as a fiduciary for Boys Fort.
Morning, everyone. What I have before you is an agreement between QHS and Boys Fort. QHS is an organization that helped Boys Fort acquire the 2.5 gigahertz frequency for Boys Fort several years ago. Although we've had no use for that frequency, it has some potential of bringing in a little bit of revenue for Boys Fort. I would like QHS to act as a representative and reach out to the local cellular companies and hopefully to obtain a lease, to lease that spectrum out to either T-Mobile, AT&T, or Verizon on behalf of Boys Fort. There will be no cost associated to Boys Fort unless the representative QHS is successful in obtaining a lease. If they are, we are recommending that QHS retain 10% of that lease amount and Boys Fort retain 90%.
Sounds good to me. Otherwise, it's just sitting there, right? We're
It's just sitting there.
Sitting there.
Yep. Yes, yes, it is. Jeff has reviewed this and has approved it.
Okay.
It's like a requirement, right? To get on the agenda or to get this far, it has to be seen by Jeff.
The reason that I asked if Jeff reviewed it is because on the paperwork, I don't see a date that it was reviewed by the tribal attorney. So that's why I asked about it. I don't have any questions on it. If the council has no questions, I would make a motion to approve this.
We got a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Robert. Motion by Janelle, second by Robert. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, everyone.
Next up, we have Rhiannon Strong. She's here to speak about a request for tribal council member representative for the parent committee.
Good morning, council. I'm just here today. Shane Drift was our last council representative, and since he is no longer in office, I'm just asking for a new representative for the tribal council for our parent policy committee.
I nominate Janelle to sit on the parent council committee. If you have any, unless you had any concerns about sitting on there. If there's no questions or concerns, ask for a motion to approve Janelle to sit on the parent committee. Moved by David. Do I have a second? Second by Millie. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion.
I think I'll be silent on that one, right? What? Yeah. Sure.
Sure,
okay.
it was still, okay. And one silent. Motion carried.
Awesome, thank you. I'll get in touch with you, Janine.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Next up, Jalen has two items that he'd like to present.
First one will be Tom Spears on resolution 22-2027 for the SRF Task Force grant application for public transportation. Tom works in our Public Works Department as a Big Woods. I guess if you want to explain your title, I guess, Tom.
Hi, thank you for joining us today, Tom.
Good morning, council. My name is Tom Spears. I'm Big Woods Transit Manager.
Oh, thank you. And we're here to speak about approval for the SRF. You are requesting to apply for a grant.
Yes. And we're requesting to use SRF to write that grant. It's someone that or a group we previously used before to write grants for us. And it's at no cost to the tribe. What's going to be utilized is the IIJA fund. I believe that's through the MNDOT, so it's cost free to us
Okay.
and covered by them. And there's a potential of up to $1 million for operating expenses, wages, hopefully buses, depending on the amount. It's competitive. You can request X amount, but I think on average it's 350,000 they've been awarding through the past 5 years. So we're hoping for more, but yeah, it'd be great to work with this SRF to get the grant and secure some more funding for the transit.
All right. You can apply for up to $1 million. And like you had mentioned, previously awarded around 350 or two.
Yep. According to Jamie, he had said that that program has on average awarded up to 350.
It
But
can
he
be
has seen other programs get around $1 million.
perfect, which can be used for buses, operating expenses, wages for potential full-time mechanic and for things not covered by building grant for the new facility.
Yes.
All right. Any questions or concerns? It's actually an opportunity, especially with the no cost to us. Makes it even that much better. If there's no questions or concerns, I ask for a motion to approve.
I have one question first.
We have a question
Thank you.
before.
When is the grant? What's the due date for the grant?
The due date is August 25th or end of August.
That's the only question I had. Thank you.
Well, then when would be announced if we won't get the award, we're awarded? If we're awarded, what's the date that the award would be?
I'm unaware of that.
Okay.
And I'm Carol, if she's online. Not Carol, Doris. Still on it?
Also found the grant deadline is August 25th
I think that's what they said, the
at
25th.
10:59 PM. Yep. Near the back.
Carol was here, but she had to step out. She had an emergency. And then as well as Brian, he had another work emergency. So I do apologize about not having that answer in regards to when the funding would be awarded. I believe it's for fiscal year 2027 though.
Okay. We got a motion to approve by Dave. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch that timeline. You know, August 25th is the due date for the grant, you know, to let us know when the award is either
Yeah, definitely.
approved
I've
or
been in
denied.
contact with Jamie from SRS.
Maybe
or- Yeah, SRF.
maybe they can even answer us before we find out in person. So
Mhm.
you can shoot us an email, finding out when we can expect to find out or answer. That'd be nice just to know. I was
Definitely, I'll
curious.
keep you guys in the loop. I'll CC you on some of the correspondence between Jamie and I. but we're definitely hitting the ground running right now to get this written up and submitted. It kind of fell on our lap on a short notice. So we're doing our best to secure it.
Sounds good. Much appreciated, Tom. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right,
The second edition is Chris Holm.
Chris Holm.
The
Has
fourth,
something to do with carbon credits.
Morning, council. My name is Chris Holman. I'm DNR director here at Voice Fort.
Which for joining us today, Chris.
You hopefully have 3 documents that we provided late to you. One is called the Forest Carbon Agreement. That is the original agreement that council struck with Indian Land Tenure Foundation back in 2023. Indian Land Tenure Foundation is your project proponent that's going to be in charge of getting the carbon sales when those are developed.
Okay.
The second item you should have is an amendment, first amendment to the Forest Carbon Agreement. And then the third item you should have is a letter, an attestation in support of validation of carbon credits for the Voice Fort Carbon Project. The amendment and the attestation are come to you by way of our validating agency, Vera, who has gone through its first round of audits of our submitted carbon program. Okay. There are probably at least 3, maybe 4 additional audit cycles that it's going to go through, but they've just completed the first audit. So these were basically one of the findings that they would have liked us to address in that regard. So in the original Forest Carbon Agreement, the lifetime of the project was set at 50 years. That was a 30-year base period plus 2 additional 10-year periods pending council approval to do so. We would like to extend the full life of this project now to 100 years. So we've added in the First Amendment, where it says Section 3 term, we're asking for 7 additional 10-year terms instead of the 2 original. So that brings the total project life from 50 years to 100 years. The other part of the First Amendment is regards ownership. It is basically a more defined definition of the band's ownership rights to the carbon and the trees and the property, and the project proponents' responsibilities to sell those carbon credits for you. And that is referenced, if you wanted to cross-reference, that is contained in section 7 of the original carbon agreement. So basically, we're asking for 2 things: to expand the term of the project and to approve the amended language that better defines the project proponents' responsibilities to you over the term. The other document you have is an attestation letter that we'd like the chairman and the council to review and the chairman to sign. It basically defines the process, the governance process by which the council came to determination that it wanted to enter the carbon project. That is what I have for you, and happy to answer any questions.
I didn't have any questions. I look forward to expanding this program out to 100 years. I'm glad there was a foundation laid previously in 2023 that started this, and the work done before that. So Any questions or concerns from council?
Jeff, got a chance to review this?
Jeff did review the documents last week.
Okay, thank you.
So with this agreement going up to 100 years now, maybe I missed it, but could you remind us if I did, is there a process to reassessing whether or not the carbon credits go up in value? And that way we could, the tribe can make a little bit more money, I guess, or are we locked in at a certain price for the next foreseeable future?
No, you're not locked in. I mean, the price for credits fluctuates depending on the market, the age of the credits, and probably a lot of other factors that ILTF is going to be responsible for monitoring. ILTF will try to will get you the best price it can for the credits. So you're not locked in. And yes, the carbon lands are re-inventoried on a 5-year basis, I believe. So, because trees grow, take up more or less carbon. And so that the what's called the ex ante values of carbon fluctuate in the forest as well. So it's a kind of a moving process, but you're not locked into a one price.
To answer a question we have online, it asks, how many carbon credits does Bois Forte have and currently is in their amount of carbon credits? Would that be answered in this letter right here where it says we have 28,089 acres of forest land in Net Lake and Deer Creek?
Well, that's the acreage that was required. Okay. After that, the carbon lands were the forest lands were inventoried for tree growth and potential carbon, right? So the so-called ex ante carbon amount. So that 27,565 is just the acreage. It's not the carbon. I didn't bring it. I would have to go back and look in the forest management plan that we developed and some other documents to get the actual estimated carbon at this point. I don't have that number in front of me.
Sounds good. I know, and I did hear some more band members had some questions about our carbon credit program, and I know that it's some good information to give out. I know that hopefully we can get Cody to do a presentation and get some more information out, or try to get a meeting set up so he can explain it and get that information out there, but try to make sure band members know what's going on so that everybody can hear about what's going on with the program. I know he has a video online. Would you happen to know the name of the YouTube video that he had mentioned? Was it Bois Forte Carbon Credit Program?
Yeah, Bois Forte Carbon Credit Program. The name that the working group gave to it was Ajikan.
Okay.
I think I said that right, Jay, which means to take back the land. So it is on the website with that name provided. So perfect. And there's a YouTube as well. And a lot of the forest management plan is there. A lot of information is up there now.
So if you're interested, check out Ajikan online on YouTube and just search Bois Forte Carbon Credit Program, and you can get an informational video on the work that's being done. And it's very informative. No, is it the 12-minute video? I think that's about
I
right.
believe it's 12 minutes. Yeah.
There's a Kia Jainan, which is 7 minutes and 47 seconds. And then I believe there's an additional one, but Aking Ajanan is the title of the our YouTube videos.
King Ajaynag. Aking Ajaynag.
Aking
Aking
Ajanan.
Ajaynag. Which, Jay?
On page 13 of here, it says you're sending notices. Do you have to change the name of the chairperson on it? On page 13 on the original lease thing.
On the original document, section 13,
Yeah. No, page 13.
page 13. Okay, so, yeah, so this original document was signed by Kathy as chair at the time. I guess I would defer to Jeff if he's online as to whether any changes to recognize new chair Carlos need to be done to the original document or on any of the well, he's going to sign the amendments and stuff. So do we need any kind of notification of documentation of transfer? I guess.
I don't think so. We'll see this a lot. You'll see stuff. We'll see Kathy's name. Sometimes we'll see Kevin's name pop up, but yeah. Okay.
There's some language in the agreement that allows the band to update the notice without making a formal amendment. So I think we could do that just so they have the updated contact information for the chair.
Which there's no questions or concerns. I ask for a motion to approve the amendment and signing it as testation. Moved by Robert. Do I have a second? Second by Millie. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you for joining us today, Chris.
Thank you.
Which I think that was it, right? Is that the two? All right.
Can I just make one quick comment? So FYI, I know last time when we towards the end, we talked about a board of directors. Just let band members know that we're still in the process of reviewing documents. And it's nothing that has slipped off our radar. And we're also met with Fortune Bay to see how we're gonna fund these positions for our board of directors. Right now, it's not in the budget for this year, but that's something that we're looking at, hoping to get on for next year. And but we haven't forgot about the board of directors, and so I just want to let people know what about that project. So that's all.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Yeah, we are still making sure we're moving forward with the board of directors and the VFDC Act. And another thing I wanted to touch on was the per caps. I know people had our treaty payments. I apologize for calling it a per cap. Some people had a question on the amount and, the 35 cents and why it wasn't rounded this year. And it has been rounded, in previous years using the Nez Perce settlement. And the funds were low, or there's no more Nez Perce funds. And earlier when we did our budgets a couple months ago as council, we didn't budget for, filling in that payment to rounding it up. So when we found the amount and we divided it up, we didn't have a budget set aside to round it up. So we didn't, because we didn't want to just pull money. We just didn't want to find money. We didn't want to make it work. We'd actually like to establish our budget and stick to it and not just willy-nilly spend money out of nowhere. We want to be accountable. So next year, we'll try to adjust and plan for a budget. I don't know what it would be, 5 or 10,000, to make sure that we have that extra $1 or $2 to make that an even amount for our treaty payments next year. So miigwech, everybody. I just wanted to explain that to everybody. So thank you. Oh, and August 14th. Yep, it was, we disseminated online. August 14th will be the payment, and hopefully they come early like they did last year. So everybody be calling in on Thursday this year. All right. No, I was kidding. All right. But thank you all for joining us today in person and online. And miigwech. Ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Janelle. Do I have a second? Second by Millie. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 12 PM. Thank you for joining us.
Some events going on quick. If anyone's still on, the will and estate planning that the Boys Fort Tribal Courts will be happening tomorrow at 5 PM. Again, that's out at the Net Lake Courts, Tribal Courts. And then we have the beading classes, crafting and beading at 11 AM to 1 PM up in Net Lake at the Behavioral Health Building at August 9th, and then in Vermillion on August 16th. For any folks that are living in the Duluth area, we have the Lincoln, we have an urban office picnic this Friday or this Thursday, so tomorrow at 5 PM to 7:30 PM over at Lincoln Park. So that's 501 North 25th Avenue West. And then for the folks that are living down in the cities, we have the urban office picnic down there, and that will be August 15th, which is a Saturday. And that will be held from 4 to 8 PM. And I believe it is held at the Minnehaha Falls at the Woblin Park Pavilion C, which is down by the Veterans Home. Thank you.
Which, Jay?